ਫੈਡਰਲ ਚੋਣ ਮੁਹਿੰਮ ਦਾ ਤੀਸਰਾ ਹਫ਼ਤਾ ਖਤਮ ਹੋਣ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਚੋਣ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਵੀ ਸਿਖਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਹੈ। ਹਰ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਵੋਟਰਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਵਾਅਦਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਟੋਕਰੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਧਿਰ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੂੰ ਘੇਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਦੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਜਗਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ BC ਦੇ ਟਾਊਨ ਹਾਲ 'ਚ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਬੋਧਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ 'ਚ ਚੋਣ ਰੈਲੀ ਕੀਤੀ।
I was in Sudbury to talk about safeguarding more of Canada's pristine wilderness and what a re-elected Liberal government will do to ramp up the fight against climate change. But of course, that's not all we talked about. In less than a month, we all have a really important decision to make. We get to decide the kind of future we want to build together. And quite frankly, the choice couldn't be clearer. You've got a Conservative leader who's trying to pretend that you can get all of Stephen Harper's credits without getting any of his cuts. I know nobody thinks that's credible. See, on the campaign trail, Conservative politicians love to say they're for the people, but we know what happens once they get into power. Look no further than right here in Ontario with Doug Ford's government. What has this Conservative government delivered us? Cuts to public health, cuts to green energy projects, cuts to parks and conservation authorities, cuts to public education. Just today we learned that Conservative cuts to education will result in 10,000 fewer teachers here in Ontario. And now the federal Conservative leader is asking Canadians to double down on Doug Ford, to double down on Conservative cuts. I think that's a huge mistake. And here's why. Stephen Harper was in power for nearly 10 years, and just like Doug Ford, he also thought that cuts and austerity were the answers to everything. Almost a decade in the driver's seat, and what did he have to show for it? Economic growth? Stalled. Job creation? Stalled. Wage growth? Stalled.
And young people are demanding that world leaders listen. They're demanding that people do something. They're saying it's their future. Young people are saying, we are worried about the future. We are afraid. And if a young person says that he or she's afraid, that they're afraid of the future, I mean, that to me is a massive, just irresponsible lack of understanding of what kids are going through. So for me, I want to say to those young people, I understand that you're worried. I stand with you. And we want to demand action. That we're done with the pretty words of Mr. Trudeau, who says one thing, then buys a pipeline, says one thing, then approves expanding it the next day. The pretty words and empty promises are not sufficient. They're not good enough. They're wrong. They're actually a betrayal of young people and their future. So for me, this is about young people, that what we owe it to them to make sure that we can look them in the eyes and say we fought with everything we had to make sure this planet was livable, that the environment was protected, that the air and the land and the water were livable for everyone. So whatever government the people of Canada choose, I will be doing my best to continue to fight this project. I've said I'm running to become Prime Minister. That's why I don't want to answer your question directly, because I don't want to accept the frame that I'm not a Prime Minister, because that's what I'm working to do. But to respond directly, I will work with whatever position I'm in to ensure that we continue to oppose this project. We would not expand the Trans Mountain. We would not build another pipeline. We would not approve that. And with respect to the asset that we have, we'd have to assess what it is and exactly what it's worth and understand what we can do with it. Now, I don't have those details because I'm not privy to them. But we need to make a good decision around the future. But we know the future of our country and the world is a future where we're not burning carbon for fuel, where we are investing in renewable energy. And that's the future I want to build.